Finally, the reality of the whole Steam Deck and Nintendo Switch 2 thing that I've seen in various different ways over the internet can hopefully come to an end after a recent report when it comes to how the Steam Deck's actually done. Now, I want to make sure that I preface this by saying that I'm not in any way against PC handhelds or Steam Decks or anything like that. I have a Steam Deck. I have a Steam Deck OLED. I spent over $550, almost $600 on it, and I've tested some things out. And I realized that it's just not for me, considering all the things that you have to actually do to get games to play a certain way and all of that. I just don't like tinkering with stuff over and over and over, so it's not for me, but I realize that there is a place in the market for it. However, the stuff that I've seen online that people say, considering the Steam Deck and the Nintendo Switch, have been absolutely crazy when it comes to Switch 2 specs need to measure up to Steam Deck, or Switch 2 has a lot more competition because of Steam Deck and other PC handhelds, and why would I buy third-party games on the Nintendo Switch 2 when the Steam Deck is here? But the reality is this, shout outs to Stealth when it comes down to it, because he put up a tweet that went over what an analyst has estimated what the sales of the Steam Deck are, and the sales are around 3.7 to 4 million units in around 3 years on the market. Now, to give you guys some perspective, the Wii U actually puts that to shame in its first 3 years over. It's selling multiple times more than what the Steam Deck sold in its first 3 years. Also, if you look at it, the Xbox Series is doing considerably better, and many people feel that the sales have completely failed on that one, I think Microsoft included. So it's not like Steam Decks are flying off the online retailer shelves or off the shelves, and PC handhelds that are not the Steam Deck are doing considerably worse than Steam Deck. Steam Deck by far is probably the most popular, best-selling PC handheld in the modern era when it comes from 2021 and on, after the flood of them started hitting the market. So to sit here and say that the Nintendo Switch 2 needs to do this because of Steam Deck, or that the Nintendo Switch 2 needed Steam Deck, which I did see that was a video from Eurogamer. The Nintendo Switch 2 never needed Steam Deck. The Nintendo Switch 2 does not need Steam Deck, and in actuality, the Steam Deck owes what it did to the Nintendo Switch, because in 2017, the Nintendo Switch is the hybrid system that blew up and gave a lot of these companies the faith to make something like that. I think that the Nintendo Switch in general is the reason why we're seeing this handheld home console hybrid revolution that's going on, and why Microsoft and Sony kind of want to get their hats into the mix as well. You got to remember, guys, the Nintendo Switch is the first system that's ever been considered a home console in any type of way, shape, or form to ever even get close to touching the PlayStation 2 in sales. And it's the first system in nearly a decade plus, actually over a decade plus, to reach 150 million in sales. No other system has even gotten close outside of the Nintendo DS. There is a large gap between the top three, which is the PS2 at the top, the Nintendo DS at number 2, and the Nintendo Switch at number 3, which the Nintendo Switch is going to pass up the DS sometime this year. But there's a large gap between that and then the next system on the market. So when you see sales like that, historic all-time best sales at a sales rate that's faster than the PlayStation 2, yeah, you're going to get other people that are going to copy you, not the other way around. Now, let me get into this thing about the Nintendo Switch 2 needed the Steam Deck, because there was a video from Eurogamer that was produced a few weeks ago where they talked about this, and essentially the gist of the video was that Nintendo Switch 2 needed Steam Deck because Steam Deck got a lot of PC developers to work on the Steam Deck verification, and how people get upset when there isn't Steam Deck verification, and that it allowed them to work on low spec devices. So the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to benefit from being verified on Steam Deck because of its specs. But that's a silly thing to say, and I'll tell you the reason why it's kind of silly to say that. Right after those that aren't subscribed, make sure that you hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying this video. Click that notification bell, hit that like button as well to get the best Nintendo Switch 2 news videos and more as soon as they drop. So let me go ahead and continue explaining why this is a silly thing to have that comparison. The Steam Deck isn't even popular enough overall to get most of the developers to verify games for it. Most of my games are not verified for Steam Deck at this point. Now, maybe it's changed, maybe I need to go back and look, but there are a ton of games that do not have Steam Deck verification. Now, maybe you'll get better. Like I said, maybe it's been better, but there are still a lot of games that don't have the Steam Deck verification. And on top of that, there are a lot of games that outright just, they're never going to get the Steam Deck verification. Plus, the Nintendo Switch 1, when it comes to games, it was getting games well before Steam Deck was even a thing. And if the developer wanted to bring games over to Nintendo Switch 2, it would be based off of the system selling well, not because there's Steam Deck verification. I don't think that's really going to change anything. People put games on Nintendo Switch 1 because they wanted to get a piece of that market. Now, it was difficult because of the way that the system was with the specs and everything, but the verification process isn't going to change anything for the Nintendo Switch 2, and the specs that Nintendo was looking for, the specs that Nintendo was shooting for, was going to be based off of what they can do when it comes to battery power, when it comes to the life of the system, when it comes to the price of the system, when it comes to so many different things. And the Steam Deck verification had nothing to do with that in terms of games that play on Steam Deck or not. Developers are going to want to put games on the Nintendo Switch 2 because they think it's going to sell a lot, not because, oh, well, it's Steam Deck verified, so therefore just automatically on this. You still need to go in there and optimize for that system. So I don't believe that Steam Deck verification all of a sudden is this praising moment to where Nintendo needs to bow down or needs to praise Valve for making this system. That's ridiculous. Developers that wanted to make money or want to make money are going to put games on the Nintendo Switch 2 because the system sells like crazy. Barely anybody, in comparison, if we're just being real here, has actually bought a Steam Deck compared to the Nintendo Switch 1. And even still at this point, the Nintendo Switch 1 blows away the Steam Deck in sales. So I don't think that really has much or really anything to do with it outside of, okay, sure, maybe there's some developers that are like, okay, we have experience with Steam Deck, so therefore we can get our game maybe optimized a bit more or differently or faster on the Nintendo Switch 2, but it's not some be-all, end-all. Since it's checked off on Steam Deck, all of a sudden it's checked off on the Nintendo Switch 2. So I find that point to be absolutely ridiculous, and I think it kind of comes from someone who doesn't really play the Nintendo Switch 1 much or really know exactly in terms of the porting process, and it's simply just talking because there's relative, I would say, familiarity between developing on a handheld or portable system and the Nintendo Switch 2 is coming up. So make a video on it. But yeah, I think that even without the Steam Deck, the Nintendo Switch 2 still would have got a lot of developers coming out and supporting it. You look at Japanese developers just in general, a lot of them are going to be looking at the Nintendo Switch 2 because of the sales of the Nintendo Switch 1. So a lot of these games that are getting leaked or getting announced or that have already been talked about overall, it's because of the incredible sales of the Nintendo Switch 1, in addition to the specs and Nintendo doing with DLSS and what they're working with NVIDIA. We already knew that it was going to be much bigger. Nintendo knew that they had to put a lot more into the system after the complaints on the Nintendo Switch 1, even with their own first-party games. So to me, this video that Eurogamer did and what other people have said about the Nintendo Switch 2 compared to Steam Deck is ridiculous. It's kind of overblown, and I think that these sales here really kind of put into perspective that there really isn't any competition at this point, and there really isn't any something that Nintendo needs to worry about or anything. At the end of the day, Nintendo's in competition with all the different systems for your hard-earned money and time. They want you to buy games on their platform. They want you to spend time on their platform, plain and simple. So all of the companies and all the systems, Microsoft, Sony, Valve, whatever the case is, mobile, they're all in competition at the end of the day, and that's how Nintendo sees it. They want to earn your time, they want to earn your money with their first-party games. They want you to get you to buy their system. Let's talk about some more Nintendo Switch 2 stuff when it comes down to it, because Goodfeel, they are actually hiring for a number of different positions overall, because it looks like they're ramping up to get ready for the Nintendo Switch 2. And if you look at the library of games that they've put out, they're actually pretty good. They were founded back in October of 2005, and their first game was in 2008 with Wario Land Shake It on the Wii. They also made Mario and Luigi Dream Team in 2013 for the Nintendo 3DS, Yoshi's Woolly World in 2015 for the Wii U, Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World in 2017 for the Nintendo 3DS, Yoshi's Crafted World in 2019 for the Nintendo Switch, and Princess Peach Showtime in 2024 for the Nintendo Switch. And as you can see here, they have a variety of different positions that they are hiring for, and these games have been fairly successful overall. All of these games have been million-plus sellers for the most part, so I do think that they do have, obviously, a lot of talent, and they definitely have positions that they need to fill with the Nintendo Switch 2 coming, and then probably having having to have more developers than they had before. This has never been a huge team or anything, but they've slowly but surely added in developers as they went into HD development with the Yoshi's Woolly World game on the Wii U, then of course the Nintendo Switch with Crafted World and Princess Peach Showtime. It looks like they're adding in to see what they're going to be doing next, but it does look like they're probably going to be working on a Mario IP or something in the Mario universe. Man, you know what would be awesome? If Goodfeel returned to making a Wario game. I think that Wario Land Shake It was super cool. Imagine a highly detailed, really fun Wario Land type of 2D game on the Nintendo Switch 2 from Goodfeel. I think that would be really cool. We recently got the Wario Land GBA game on the Nintendo Switch NSO, and that game is really good. People enjoyed playing that one. It was a highly rated game as well. I think that would be really, really cool if they were able to get something like that going for the Nintendo Switch 2, but we're gonna have to wait and see what they have for us. But let's go ahead and move on to the next topic here, guys. We're going to be discussing some Pokemon Legends ZA and Pokemon Presents information, some rumors that have came out. Now, there is a lot on this, guys, and I don't want to get into every single little detail that involves Pyoro and stuff like that. Shout outs to my man, Andres Restart. He actually had a good video on it. I'm going to put a link for you guys in the description if you want to check out exactly what's going on with the new online multiplayer Pokemon game where he breaks it down and where Pyoro is teasing and things like that. But it does look like we are getting a brand new Pokemon online game that's in the same vein of like a Splatoon or some type of team 4-on-4 with different team modes, and you can ride on top of Pokemon and capture and battle other ones. So yeah, it looks like something crazy is happening. Once again, link in the description for Andres Restart's video where he breaks it all down and goes over some of the leaks from the Pokemon company themselves and kind of what happened there. But I did want to get into the new Pokemon Legends ZA game because it looks like there's going to be some details revealed there. Now, I won't go over everything overall. I do want to go over just a couple of different things. Apparently, the starters are going to be Snivy, Scorbunny, or Piplup, or Snivy, however you say it. You have the different professors, Dexo and Cinna. Plus, there's going to be various areas of Lumoy City that are shown off on this trailer under construction. You got Sycamore's Lab as a main hub for the game. It's going to be larger than X and Y and a huge field behind it. The trailer's going to shift over apparently to open caves beneath the city, which we did kind of see them go underneath like a bridge and some water. So maybe there's going to be some stuff there. I love me some open world caves or something like that, or open area caves. And apparently that's where the diverse Pokemon Legends Arceus type or style of gameplay is going to take place, underneath in some of those caves and in the fields behind as well. So it does look pretty cool. Looks like there's going to be a desert as well, or a tundra. And apparently the release date is going to be June 27th for this game. So very interesting to see all of this right here when it comes down to it. Shout outs to the Hidden Power podcast. They put out this tweet on Twitter, and yeah, I love Pokemon Legends Arceus, man. I think that Pokemon Legends Arceus is really, really good, and I'm definitely excited for Pokemon Legends ZA, just because I think that if they take the base of what they work with Pokemon Legends Arceus and they just improve upon that, they improve upon the graphics, they improve upon the stability, they improve upon the mechanics, and they add more flexibility to the content and to the game structure, I think Pokemon Legends ZA can be one of the best Pokemon games out there. So for me, I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of this different stuff. They also talked about some different Mega Evolutions, which I won't talk about here, but yeah, Mega Evolutions are hype as well. A lot of Pokemon fans love the Mega Evolutions, and I thought they were cool back when I played Pokemon X and Y back in 2013 and all that. So yeah, looking forward to this quite a bit. The Pokemon Presents is going down on February 27th at 6 a.m. PT, 9 a.m. Eastern time. I'll be here bright and early, probably like an hour and a half or two before the show starts, in order to talk about all of this. So yeah, I think it's going to be really, really, really good overall in terms of things. So what are you guys' thoughts when it comes to everything that we discussed here with Pokemon Legends ZA, with what Goodfeel is doing and a new game for Switch 2, and of course the Nintendo Switch 2 conundrum with Steam Deck and all of that? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch RPG content and more right here on screen. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.